I watched Madam Web for the first time yesterday, actually.
Oh, you actually watched it? Okay.
Yeah, I actually watched Madam Web. I gotta say, I like it better than Morbius. I like it better than 2 of the 3 Venom movies. That's not to say it's a great film.
So you also saw Venom 3?
Yeah, I also saw Venom 3. I am fully up to date on the Sony Spider-Man movie.
They should have spelled that one Ven 3M.
Yeah, they should. Or Vithrenum.
Vithrenum. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, Venom would be the Venom prequel.
Yes.
I had a pretty good time with the first Venom, and then an even better time with like the deleted scenes from the first Venom.
Oh, the best part of this entire Sony venture is when the credits roll on Venom 1 and you are treated to the delight of an original Eminem rap about Venom.
It goes like, Venom.
And it's like, oh, this is a movie that understands exactly who its audience is. In the year of Luigi, this is episode 368 of Insert Credit, a panel show of video game experts talking about the things they know best, all reliant on you, the listener, to keep us in stock with horrible buzzers. I'm Alex Jaffe, and my favorite actual historical figure from Roman history is, of course, Glyceo the Destroyer, the Colosseum champion famous for riding a rhinoceros into combat until he was slain by Lucius Verus Aurelius, son of Maximus.
Wow. I'm Frank Cifaldi, and my favorite, real person from
your
Rome?
favorite real, actual, historical Roman figure.
I mean, it's hard to beat Caesar, who inspired the $5 hot and ready.
Yeah. We owe him a great debt.
Well, Frank, you have to be specific about Caesar because that was a title, not a name.
Oh, sorry. My name is Frank Cifaldi, and my favorite guy from Roman history is Little Caesar.
Caesar Minimus.
My name is Ash Parrish, and my favorite actual historical figure, God, it's so hard to pick one. I know, I'm a dork. One of them is definitely Octavian, so Caesar Augustus. The other one is pre-Empire. He's not a Roman figure, obviously, but Hannibal, the general, because I love the fact that he just put the fear of gods, I guess, in the Romans.
Yeah.
Like, he became their boogeyman in such a short period of time. And then on the other side of that is Scipio Africanus, was the guy who kicked his ass, essentially. Top of my head, those are my top 3.
You know, I did specifically say figure from Roman history, not a Roman, so I'll allow it.
I'm Brandon Sheffield. First of all, what does keeping us in stock mean?
Just making sure that we have a ready stock of buzzers. We're working through them one episode at a time.
Okay, got it. Because I thought you meant that we were being stocked.
No, we have an inventory of horrible buzzers, which we use one of per episode.
Understood.
And if we ever run out, we stop doing the show.
That's right. Just clarifying. Okay.
Well, unless we spend our credits, in which case, no.
That's true.
Yeah.
We can spend a credit to save the show for cancellation.
Yes, for one credit, you can extend the life of the show for one episode.
I'm Brandon Sheffield. My favorite real-life character from Roman history is frequent JRPG final boss, the Pope.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
That guy.
Wait, in what JRPG do you fight the Pope? I know you do that in Assassin's Creed, but like...
Well, you know, it's probably like legally distinct, the Pope, but there's like some big Christian, usually Catholic, over figure who's super evil in a lot of JRPGs. I cannot call any to mind at this moment, but it's real. The Pope's in there. He's a big bad with glowing eyeballs, and they made a contract with Satan, etc.
I am looking at a Giant Bomb list right now of games where the final boss is the Pope.
Yeah.
And there's 11 games on this list. Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward is one of them. Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Okay, yeah.
Final Fantasy 13.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a few that qualify. Knights of Azure.
Okay.
Final Fantasy Tactics. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you have to be specific when you say the Pope. Do you mean like, you know, a Borgia or some like facsimile of a Pope?
Yeah, I mean the Pope. Any the Pope.
Brandon and I are both generalists. Okay?
Yeah, that's right.
No, I got too much autism spectrum disorder to be generous like that. You say shit like that, you have to be specific.
I like Little Caesar and I like Young Pope.
I do like Young Pope. I love that. I love that show.
I'm more of an anti-Pope guy. I really loved him in Crisis on Infinite Earths. The part where he kills Supergirl is really neat. That's a joke for nobody. Let's go.
No,
on
that's
to
a joke for me. I got it.
I read it.
I didn't get
I
it.
read Crisis.
All right.
So you were right about me.
What was a pirate guy?
A psychopirate.
I don't even know in what sphere of interest we're discussing. I assume it's comics.
It's comics.
That's the comic where Psycho Pirate became a real player.
Yeah, he remembers all the previous versions of continuity, and it drives him crazy.
Doesn't Dr. Fate fight Anti-Pope or?
Everybody fights the Anti-Monitor.
Yeah, like all the action figures get spilled out of the box.
Yeah. It's the first big multiverse crossover. It pretty much started the entire culture we're drowning in right now.
That's bad.
So thank Marv Wolfman for that. Let's get on to the meat of the show, because I have a different show where I talk about comics, and Ash is going to be on that one pretty soon.
Show meat.
So here's my first question. 20 years ago, Kirk Ewing released a game called JFK Reloaded, a shooter where you recreated the assassination of John F. Kennedy as accurately as possible.
Right.
What other specific historical events would it be interesting to recreate in a video game space?
John Brown's raid on Harper's Ferry.
Yeah.
Oh, how would you do that?
MSIM. Or maybe a strategy game. Well, I have to think about how John Brown did that raid. And depending on if it was like a bunch of guerrilla fighters just like infiltrating Harper's Ferry and then like blowing shit up, then MSIM. But if it was like a tactical thing where he was commanding shit, then maybe a strategy game.
Personally, as someone who's played those machine games, Wolfensteins, I think a first-person shooter with a fictionalized outcome would be fun.
Of what?
He fully succeeds.
I thought you were going your own
No.
history. Okay.
I'm saying my version of the thing that you're discussing.
Oh, you're talking about Wolfensteining John Brown.
And I would like to Wolfenstein John Brown so that we're first-person shooting the slaveholders.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
You're Wolfensteining John Brown and going full Inglorious Bastard mode.
It has to be batshit the way that I think Wolfenstein The New Blood was batshit. Like, because by the end, you had like heads getting cut off and like titties everywhere. I'm not joking. Where you got to go like absolutely insane with like over the top humor. I don't know how you make that funny. I don't know exactly what you would do.
For making it go nutso, I would start there and then keep going. Like we would keep going we would succeed in the raid and then we would keep going. Burn across the South. Is what we would do.
Hell yeah. Sherman's March?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Dude, this is awesome. We should make this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll write it. I swear to God.
What do you call it?
Oh, come back to me on that one. Frank.
A field full of titties.
No.
The John Brown story.
All right. It's my turn, right?
Yes.
I'm going to go really recent history.
Okay.
I want to do a video game version of the tragedy of the Ocean Gate submersible submarine.
Oh,
God.
Go on.
You play as the ocean.
It's kind of, I was thinking it's kind of like Downwell or something. It's like an arcadey game where you're trying to get this thing to the bottom of the ocean as quickly as you can so that it blows up. So you're intentionally trying to blow it up, and maybe there's like friendly sea creatures that are like coming trying to like lift you back up that you have to avoid, or like giant bubbles or something. And it's like,
you're just
no,
determined to submerge to your death. Living is in failure state.
Yeah, so like it's a score attack game.
Yeah.
Based on like how quickly you can get to the bottom and blow up the rich weirdos who are inside.
Yeah. Although the one thing that puts a little sour note on that is that the young man who was in there.
I was just getting ready to say.
Who was there just because he had a difficult relationship with his father and wanted to please him. That guy also got imploded in there. I feel bad for that guy. So
okay, can we fix that in the game?
Yes.
Yeah, we can just have him not be on there.
Yeah,
It's a good note.
Like it always starts with him waving and saying "Bon voyage" in like a pixel font.
There we go.
Like a 2-frame animation.
We've solved it.
No, it starts with him picking up like Super Mario 2 style the submarine and throwing it in and then waving.
Yeah. And then ridiculous fishing ensues, except you don't come back up.
I did have ridiculous fishing in mind. Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah.
I would love an Amelia Earhart Final Flight.
Ooh, yeah.
And then we can figure out where she went
Based on what happens in the game.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
we've simulated it correctly.
Yeah, it's built on like Microsoft Flight Simulator, and you have like real world data on how much fuel she had.
Yeah.
And we can like triangulate where she probably landed.
Yeah.
Well, I thought she landed in the portal to the Netherworld, and now
Yes.
she's
We had a triangle.
battling with a sword.
Oh, that would be a fun.
I've heard that. Yes.
Fun kind of Bayonetta-esque game. Fun fact: I used to go to Purdue University. Purdue actually is a flight school. They have they're known for that. And Amelia Earhart went there, and I used to stay in the dorm named for her. It was an all ladies dorm. It was
nice.
actually nice.
I bet it was.
Did you ever visit?
No, not to my knowledge.
In dreams or in specter form.
That would actually make for a really cool ghost, like college ghost story. But
Yeah.
we actually know because when I was there, we had one of those rare, like, kid dies on campus kind of things where,
Ooh.
yeah, a guy was trying to, he got, like, you know, at dorms work, like, after a certain amount of time, you get locked out and you have to, like, go in and sign in or whatever.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to do that. So he, like, tried to sneak in through, like, some kind of utility place and got wedged in some kind of, like, device that wound up electrocuting and killing him.
Oh man.
Yeah, there were all kinds of like memes on campus, like hide and seek winner, like would have been like 2005, 6. So yeah.
This sounds like the historical recreation video game right here.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, that's time. Question number 2. What video game do you like that you believe the greatest percentage of people who have played it do not like?
Yeah. Okay. I'm sure there's plenty of these, but I'm going to need to percolate.
Frank, you got one?
No, I'm thinking.
I do.
Okay.
There you go.
Here we go.
Forspoken.
Forspoken. Here's the thing about Forspoken. I think most of the people who don't like Forspoken have never played Forspoken.
Good
Yes.
point.
Yes. I like Forspoken. I think it's very good. It was on our top 20 last year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Marvel's Midnight Suns? No, because okay, that's a case where people didn't know enough to play it, not that it was disliked.
Yeah. A lot of games are killed by bad press.
I didn't. Hey, I gave that game great press and continue to give that game great press.
Okay, here's one. It's very, very niche and specific, but Fatal Fury Wild Ambition, the first 3D, well, the only 3D Fatal Fury game until the one, I guess, that they're making right now.
Oh, yeah.
That game, I liked it. A lot of people didn't. Oh, Bariki 1. A lot of people didn't like that game.
Now, the 3D Fatal Fury is a perfect one because I'm talking about percentages here, and most of the people who would play that game are Fatal Fury purists.
Yeah, and they mostly did not like that game. So another good direction to go might be games that are universally considered bad, but I kind of like
Elf Bowling.
Right.
I'm having a hard time, but I am thinking of some older games that are weird and kind of bad that I appreciate. And the one that's coming to mind for me on the NES by Bandai is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Oh.
Like, you know the premise of Jekyll and Hyde, of course.
Yeah.
Even if you haven't read it, which I haven't. The way that they translated this into a video game is that Dr. Jekyll, he just wants to walk to the right, man.
Yeah, that's all he wants.
He just wants to go that way. And like everyone in London is just like getting in his way and touching him, and like dogs are biting him. And like he's just like, I just want to go over there. And every time someone like bothers him, he just gets a little bit more irritated.
Yeah.
And then if your irritation meter fills up, you become Mr. Hyde, who starts walking left.
Oh no, that's the opposite of what you want.
Yeah. Like he's super powerful.
Yeah.
And he's able to like wreak havoc and destroy all these Londoners who are giving you a bad time, but he's going left.
It's like that old proverb, inside everyone is two wolves, one that wants to walk right and one that wants to walk left.
It's not a good game, but how do you not appreciate that as a design? Because it's like, how do you take that premise and make it a simple 2D game?
Oh, man.
And everyone hates that game because it's just like, first of all, really hard to play, and second of all, just confusing. Like the mechanics are weird.
Sounds better than the Stephen Moffat Hyde miniseries I watched all of for some reason. It was called Jekyll, actually. God, that show.
I've got one that was true in the 90s and then became less true, which is Sonic R. Everybody hated Sonic R at the time. Many still do.
I think history's vindicated you.
Yeah, so people have come around to liking it now, but in 1997, Sonic R was not popular, but I liked it. So, yeah.
All right, here's another topic.
I want to come back to that topic sometime when we have, when I can prepare for it, because I know there's some good ones.
Well, Brandon, you got 2 credits you can spend if you want to do that next time.
We didn't do a credit update.
Oh, that's right.
Here's your credit update right now. Ash, you got 2. Brandon, you got 2. Frank, you got 1.
Nice.
If anyone wants to spend any credits, now's the time.
I don't think now's the time.
Or also later.
Now is a time.
Yes.
That is a list of 2 times.
Here's a kind of flip side of the last question. Has there ever been an unreleased video game that you were glad never came out?
Oh, no, I want them all to come out. I think I want them all to come out.
I thought I had one, but then I realized it was a TV show. Do you remember
That's close.
Game of Thrones? They got the 2 creators of Game of Thrones to make like an alternate history, the Confederate one, the Civil War show. Yeah, that.
Oh, no. I did not know about that.
Yes, I'm glad they never made that. That would have been a horrible video game.
Yeah, we didn't need that.
Yeah, that too.
We didn't need that video game.
Okay, game that didn't come out that I'm glad didn't come out.
Yeah, like that was the right choice not to release that.
I mean, there's plenty of that, but I'm not glad for myself, you know?
Plenty of games where it made financial sense not to release them, or where it wasn't gonna be good, but I still want them all to have come out, unfortunately. Fortunately or unfortunately.
I mean, one of the good calls, I think, like Brandon, you and I have played the Beavis and Butthead arcade game.
Yeah.
Not very good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it wasn't very good. No.
Is there like a premise to that, or is it another left to right game?
It is, no, you go backwards and forwards. Sometimes it's kind of a brawler.
Yeah.
Just not a very good
Pretty
one.
uninspired
It wasn't
brawler.
really the company that should make one.
Yeah, I think Marble Madness 2 was not.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
It wasn't very good.
I mean, that's one where maybe I'm glad it didn't come out, because it might have, I don't know. I like the Marble Madness. I don't know. There's a part of me that enjoys that Marble Madness has never gone beyond the first one.
Yeah, it's just its own thing.
Like, there's been attempts at, little mobile games and stuff like that, but like no one has successfully continued Marble Madness, and I kind of like that.
Someone might be tempted to say something like Sonic Extreme, but I would have loved to see that come out. I want to, even if it was a total mess, I want to see what that mess was.
Yeah, like the Steven Seagal SNES game would have been horrible, but it would be nice to have seen it.
Mm-hmm,
you can see it right now. What do you mean? Just go download it.
Yeah, I guess.
Don't go download it. Watch the GDQ speedrun.
Fair enough.
That is the way.
Speedrun of what?
Of Steven Seagal's The Final Option.
I don't remember that.
Super Nintendo. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the way you experience that
Does
game.
he break people's arms backward over his shoulder in that game? Because that's what he should be doing.
He really should be doing that. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else? Whenever I think of an interesting game, I'm like, no, I wish that had come out.
Yeah, that's the problem. I keep thinking about stuff, and I'm like, nah, it'd be cool if that came out.
There's stuff that I think is more interesting because it didn't come out.
Oh, for sure.
I actually wonder if we would have a Desert Bus for Hope if Penn and Teller Smoke and Mirrors came out.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have ever played the game Drax Night Out. Which is a game about Dracula wearing Reebok pump sneakers and murdering people. If it had come out and was just, a game. But because it was an unreleased thing, I experienced that.
Yeah,
so
being lost media instantly makes these more interesting.
There was going to be a game, theoretically, about the MC Hammer, based on the MC Hammer cartoon show.
Mm-hmm.
Which, was it really? For what?
It was like for Sega CD, I think.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's relevant to the thing that you and I, Frank, keep discussing and never do anything with.
Hammer versus Evil D and Soulfire.
Yeah.
Sega CD.
Nice.
I'm so smart.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the game where you need to avoid touching this.
That's right. Can't hurt him either.
We have surviving sprites. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were a few sprites. It didn't get very far along.
Yeah, it looks like it was just like designed. Oh no, there's footage.
There's a little
prototypey things.
Yeah,
it's
very prototypey.
Not real, but okay.
Yep. But I would have liked to see that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd probably, if it came out, I'd own it right now. I'd have it over there.
Yeah, be on your shelf back there.
Be next to CNC Music Factory, make my video.
That sounds like an inside joke I'm not privy to.
Oh,
that is a game on the Sega CD. Yeah.
Yeah, Kid and Player in that one, right?
Oh.
You can rearrange video footage to create your own music video, sort of. Marky Mark had one too.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg?
The same.
And his funky
Max
bunch.
Payne himself.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was in that movie.
So, the answer is no.
The answer is no. I like that. All right. Well, this is one that I'm hoping we can use the entire 6 minutes for. Back in episode 344, I challenged Ash Parrish to explain the lore of Elden Ring in 6 minutes. Brandon, now it's your turn.
Uh-oh.
I would like you to explain the lore of Earth Defense Force in 6 minutes.
Oh, God.
No, you don't need 6 minutes for that.
There's no 6 minutes for Earth Defense Force.
Well, that's the challenge. Extend it to 6 minutes.
I don't think that's fun for anybody. Okay. So you got the Earth.
Yeah.
Earth's been around for a long time.
Sure.
There's a lot of human beings living on it. And there's insects and other creatures
I've
that
seen
live
them.
on the Earth. They lived in harmony for the grand majority.
That's
Harmony?
debatable.
Relative
Are
harmony.
the insects large at this point?
The insects are small. They're small insects. They're very tiny. Harmony is not the right word.
So basically, you're describing our Earth, basically.
Our Earth, yes.
Okay.
It's very similar to what our current Earth is, and as much harmony as we may currently possess. There were no external threats external to Earth at that time. But then, suddenly, the television news found out that aliens were invading the Earth. They didn't know they were aliens at first. They knew it was something, though. It could have been from a foreign government, but eventually it was revealed to be aliens. The aliens, we don't know exactly their true nature, but we know what their foot soldiers are like, and they are gigantic, quite often gigantic versions of the insects that populate our planet, and sometimes frogs, sometimes arachnids, and then there's also robots that come down from there, but we don't actually truly know who's piloting the spaceships that keep beaming those things down because we blow them up. So, anyway, when this invasion started, an armed force was created to defend the Earth.
By the world government?
Yeah. But, well, no, each branch has its own, I think they're linked, but each country has its own group of forces. It's not like a global defense force, as they might call it in Europe. That's a deep cut for somebody. It is in defense of the Earth, each nation independently, because you hear on the news reports like, the Japanese Earth Defense Force is the last one going, or the Canadian Earth Defense Force has fallen, or things like that. So, anywho, we trained up soldiers on the ground who blow up buildings. We trained ladies who fly around with little jetpacks. They call themselves Valkyries, sort of.
Only women can use the jetpacks?
Is this gendered? Yeah, I was going to ask.
Only women can use jetpacks. That's right.
It's because we're lighter.
That's right.
Yeah. Hollow bones.
More agile.
It's well known women have hollow bones.
Okay, but can I see their belly buttons?
Yeah, you can most of the time. Sometimes they have outfits that you can change, but
all right.
You can do that. Boob windows, etc. You got to make sure that it's a sexy lady.
Yeah, that's all for aerodynamism. It's essential to the jetpack squad.
It's hard to fight monsters if your cleavage can't breathe. Is what I understand.
I mean, I'm already pretty upset that I can't see their butts because of the fire.
Yeah,
so,
that's true. That's because of wokeness.
It's the one downside to this war.
Is Frank confirming himself as a butt guy?
No comment.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, there's those guys. There's also a guy that's big, and there's a bunch of vehicles around, but you basically can't use them because as soon as you get into one, it's impossible to use or steer or fire. So you just pretty much ignore those completely.
And what does this have to do with the insects?
Oh, well, I'm talking about the methods of dispatching them and the organization of the Earth Defense Force to fight the insects. The insects are giant.
The aliens mutated the insects?
Well, the insects, we actually don't know if they are aliens or they are mutated Earth creatures. That's never revealed to us, but it is implied strongly that they're aliens.
Oh, okay, because I was going to say, where are the ships coming from if these are mutated Earth creatures?
This is a question that is never answered.
Okay.
To the best of my knowledge, I don't think that is. It's possible it might be answered in something like Earth Defense Force Insect Armageddon, which doesn't exist, but has a lot of story in it.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so if it doesn't exist, how do you know that?
It doesn't exist because it's bad. It's the bad one that we don't play.
We don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nobody knows what the lore is in that one because it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And then the important thing about the Earth Defense Force is that everyone in there, everyone who applies, everyone who gets accepted to the Earth Defense Force is always hungry, is always out of bullets, always can't wait to go home and talk to their wife. They just have a lot of inner monologues that they need to get out. It's really important. And if you cannot monologue constantly with nonsense, you're not allowed into the Earth Defense Force.
No, that's part of the training process. They weed you out. One thing I've noticed, some of the EDF games have years in the title, which suggests some kind of timeline. Is that like born out of the games at all?
Yeah, somewhat. Things progress, but in a very abstract kind of flat way, because we're constantly like up against the cataclysmic destruction of the Earth. But then every game we're kind of like, oh no, it's happening again, and everything's been rebuilt. Everything went back to being fine, but then, oh no, they're here again.
Okay. I think we've all learned a little something here today, which we can take with us to the bathroom as we take this quick break.
Yeah. Love the bathroom.
Ash, you okay over there?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just dog stuff. I might have to have my husband take him. So
what's he doing?
Being a bad boy.
I was explaining to Esper, but I had to take he's got a bully stick that he's chewed down to like a little nub that I was scared that he was small enough that he might swallow. So I had to take it from him, and then he was very upset about that, despite the fact that he has another fully charged bully stick waiting for him, and he's still mad at me, and now he's whining. So I might have to have my husband take him.
You might have to do like a magic trick where you're like, here's your nub.
Zoop.
Whoa, it grew.
Yeah, sleight of hand is very important to dog training. Welcome back to Insert Credit. It's time to go to the question hole. Everybody, I hope you packed your swim trunks. This week's question comes from Rin, who's one of the many subscribers to patreon.com/insertcredit. where you can get access to the form that lets you submit these questions. You'd get monthly bonus episodes, of which there are currently 51, I believe. That's an impressive amount of content for you. And if you look into the links in the show notes specifically for those Patreons, you can find downloadable versions of each of our new episodes where the buzzers are cranked all the way up, or they're alternatively substituted for easy listening sleepy time noises. So look for the Sick Freak mix and the Sleepy Bunny mix of each new episode of Insert Credit. This week's question from the aforementioned Rin asks, how often do you use button remapping, if ever? I've only used it to map A and B to the bumper and trigger of the left Joy-Con to play Vampire Survivor single-handedly on the Switch.
I did it a bunch in the 16-bit era when, like, for example, you had to, and actually I did it on the 360 too, when you had 4 face buttons and were playing a fighting game, and if you were a fighting game enjoyer who used a controller, but also not a perfect proficient person, it was hard to do like a quarter circle and then any of the triggers. I still can't do it. So what I did was I sacrificed medium punch, medium kick. I put those on the triggers, never used them, and then just had light and fierce on the face buttons. I did that for Super Nintendo. I did that for Xbox 360. I did it for PlayStation, unless I got a stick, and then I didn't remap at all. But yeah, another one is a lot of Neo Geo games on the Saturn. Neo Geo is ABCD, kind of in a straight line, but quite often A and C and B and D would be grouped. So A and C would be punch, B and D would be kick, and that just really messed with my brain. And so on the console versions, I would remap them so that like the punches are on the top buttons and the kicks are on the bottom buttons. So a lot of fighting game remaps for me is what I'm concluding here.
I forced a similar one on. I can't even remember the name of the game now, but I did that SNK 40th anniversary collection, and there's a bad fighting game in there that's pre Neo Geo. Do you remember what it's called?
Street Smart.
Street Smart, something like that. Yeah,
something like that.
But for that reason, which is that there were combo buttons that did moves. You know, like you just think about how your hand is placed on an arcade cabinet, you know, with your 3 fingers resting on 3 buttons versus how you do it on a controller, which is like a thumb resting on 2 buttons. You know, I remapped it so it actually made sense. And I think I combined 2 buttons into the Y button or something. But my answer is like, well, first of all, almost never in the modern age, because I think controls are very well thought out at this point. And like, for the most part in modern games, every button is used. So the idea of just like, you know, switching 2 of them almost never comes up for me. It just doesn't make sense. The mapping tends to be fine. But my actual answer is like anything with like a jump and an action as the primary thing, and they're not mapped Super Mario World style, I have to fix that. Like everything has to be mapped like Super Mario World.
Oh, yeah.
My answer is similar to Frank's, but not for older games. It's for newer games. You know, like how like Japanese, they do X and that's like no, and then circle is confirm. Like I think older Japanese games do that for like the PlayStation, and I have to switch that because I need to, whatever is the lowest most button must be the confirm and the jump button, and whatever is the rightmost button has to be like the back out, cancel or whatever button. Like I have to do that. Not so much the case nowadays. Everything is fine. But it's interesting that you mentioned that because I am having a problem with a current game that is all kinds of, you know, fucked. And that's Infinity Nikki. I tried playing that game on my phone with like a Jawbone. That shit didn't work. I ported it over to my PlayStation, and the way, like this game, I don't feel was adequately user experience tested because some of the things that they do are just like not intuitive to like a modern control scheme that people are used to. So like you have like your menu icon to like open the menu is on the right side, top corner of the screen, which you would associate with the right shoulder button. Like because it's on the right side of the screen, you think to open it, you hit the right shoulder button. No, it's the left one. And then when you hit something and you have to hold it down for like a radio menu or whatever and like select something, you would think intuitively, and please tell me if I'm crazy, that you would also be able to use the left stick to make your selection while you're holding down that left button, right?
Mm-hmm.
That sure, makes sense, right? No, that doesn't work. You only use the right stick while you're holding down the left button to make your selections. The D-pad doesn't fucking work at all. Like you cannot use it, which is fucked. And then it has this weird thing where usually when you hit the confirm button to like scroll through like dialogue boxes if you don't want to like read the dialogue or whatever. So for Infinity Nikki, you use the circle button to scroll through the dialogue buttons, but the X button is the confirm button. So you'll run into these situations where you're trying to scroll through dialogue, but then you'll get like a choice that you have to make, and then you have to switch buttons. You can't use the same button. It's fucked. And then on top of that, I know I'm going way too long about this. It's not consistent like when you have to hold something to confirm or when you just press it for a lot of different things. But the one thing, which is very funny because Infinity Nikki is a gacha game, when you are rolling for like your outfits or materials or whatever, when you're, you know, participating in the pulling aspect of the gacha system, that's just a simple button press. You don't have to hold it or anything like that. And there have been so many times when I've been trying to like, as I learn the game, like understand, okay, what is this? What is this currency? What does this get me? Such. I hit a button thinking, okay, this is going to explain something to me. And then I end up like spending a resource rolling on something, which is funny because you need to spend money for that kind of thing. And it seems like, okay, we're going to make everything else as unintuitive as possible, except when you have to spend a resource that we want you to pay money for. Yeah. It's fucked. And the worst thing about that is that you cannot remap anything. I actually enjoy the game, believe it or not, but I am still having to actually physically think about what button I need to hit to do the thing that I want to do because it is that Byzantine and unintuitive at all.
Yeah, right, that reminds me that like if there's ever a press, like an R3 or an L3, like a press the stick action that's important. Like if it's sometimes it's an attack, which is not cool. Sometimes this is how you run. If it's ever possible to remap that to something else, then I do. Because pressing and holding the thumbstick to run, it just like, it winds up killing me. killing my tendinitis situation.
It should be a toggle for something like that.
Yeah, if it's a toggle, sometimes it's fine. But if it's a hold, which all in the old days, it was always a hold. It's like, yeah, hold this to run. The thing you always want to be doing. That's like, oh, come on, guys.
Next topic. What is the best prison or prison sequence in a video game?
I have the answer to that. You guys go first.
No.
I mean, if you don't have an answer, I do. I'm just like, if you do have an answer, okay.
No, you go first.
Fun fact. It's Wolfenstein. Remember in the first of the new Wolfensteins where BJ breaks into the prison and then he meets a black guy who's Jimi Hendrix, and then Jimi Hendrix plays like the national anthem on a guitar during the prison break? That.
You know, it's hard to argue with that.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I like any prison in a JRPG where you're stuck in there and you just, as a player, you're like, I know there's a way out of here. And you have to figure out what to push or pull.
Yeah.
It's less exciting when it's like you actually just have to wait and someone comes and rescues you. That's not very exciting. But when you can discover the dungeon under the prison, that's cool. I like those.
That actually reminded me that I have another one that's also very good. But if, Frank, you've got yours.
Just trying to defer all your...
because I don't want to talk too much.
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, I don't know if this is my favorite. So, okay. I want to make sure I'm in the spirit of the question. Give me the exact wording again.
What is the best prison or prison sequence in a video game?
Okay. Phantasy Star 3 on the Sega Genesis. So, in the storyline at the beginning of the game, the princess who you're marrying, I think, is kidnapped. And the king throws you in jail. And normally you do what you just heard Brandon describe. Like you just try everything and then someone comes and like rescues you or something. It's just an event that happens. However, if before you trigger the story event that gets you arrested, if before you do that, you go to the shop and you sell them your pants.
What?
And you buy what's called an escape pipe, which instantly warps you out of the dungeon. You can get thrown into the prison. And you can skip the sequence where someone rescues you and you can be auto-warped out of prison. And you walk around trying to talk to people and they have like weird messed up dialogue because you literally broke the game. Mm-hmm. And then if you walk your way back to the king actually acknowledges like, oh, you did that, huh? You went and sold your pants and got an escape pipe.
I was going to ask, like, are you pantless? And do they reference that? Because that would be hilarious.
So, like, basically, they figured out the bug, but they couldn't fix it.
Oh, that's funny.
The old pants swap.
So they had the king acknowledge it and go, yeah, you got to reset the game.
Oh, really? Like, break fourth wall shit?
Yeah, it breaks the fourth wall because the king's like, yeah,
you fell into Robotnik's trap.
You broke the game, man. Like, I'm the only one who knows because I'm the king. You didn't say that, but that is my favorite prison sequence. Because one of the best parts is that the princess who was just kidnapped is like just waiting there in the castle now, and you go try to talk to her, and you get the generic like, "There's nothing interesting here" message. So that's my favorite prison break sequence. Anyway.
That's good. What was your second, Dash?
Final Fantasy IX, deep in the third or fourth disc, where Zidane is like wallowing in like his existential crisis because everything he knew about his life was a lie and he's actually supposed to be like some soulless clone or whatever. And the sequence is great. He's like trapped. He got thrown in prison because he went back to his home planet and it wasn't like the planet that you start on or whatever. And the thing that makes it so great is because Nobuo Uematsu's You Are Not Alone is a fucking incredible song. And it's very much a Final Fantasy power of friendship moment because like it's one of those sequences that happen in RPGs where like the character is like walking funny and they don't have all of their powers and they're not like into it, even though they're like not damaged or anything. And Final Fantasy IX, you have 4 party members and you start off as Zidane by yourself and you're trying to make your way through this dungeon. And then one by one, like your party members like come back to you and like slowly fill up the party, like trying to encourage him. And that like power friendship thing combined with like the music, which is fucking amazing, makes it one of my favorite prison sequences.
Pretty good. I want to shout out one that's in Fable 1. The first Fable video game by Peter Molyneux. One of the very kind of stupid, half-assed implemented ideas that I respect.
Oh, you mean Real Estate the game?
Yeah, exactly. That's more Fable 2. Fable, there's this moment in Fable 1 where you're thrown into prison and you get an opportunity to escape from that prison once a year. And if you screw it up, you age a year. And it's like, better luck next year. And it's like one of the harshest punishments I have seen for a failure condition in a video game, because there's like no going back from that. And it's cool that they put that in the game, even if it doesn't really like work in any mechanical way. So
you get thrown in prison as a fail state for something, and
you get thrown in prison regardless. That is part of the story. But after a year passes, you get an opportunity to escape. But if you fuck it up, then you got to wait till next year until you can try again.
Is it really hard to fuck it up? And is that the point?
It's medium to fuck it up.
Okay.
And it's like years in this game are like levels. So like if a year passes, then like you lost the opportunity to level up once. So it's kind of interesting. And your character physically ages. It's the kind of thing that looks really cool in a magazine article, but when you actually play it is kind of boring, which is basically how Molyneux made his bones.
No one mentioned the Metal Gear one where the guy's got to go poo-poo.
That's true. But unfortunately, that's time, so we can't talk about it.
Want to spend a credit, Frank?
To talk about the guy who's got to go poo-poo?
I don't think so.
Nah.
What is the Christopher Nolan's Tenet of video games?
Shit.
Final Fantasy Tenet.
Whatever Hideo Kojima does.
Yeah.
Well, my main memory of Tenet is that the sound mix was really bad and I couldn't hear the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there's a lot of like PS1 games like that.
I didn't play it, but a lot of people talk about it. So it's Metal Gear Solid 3 through 5.
Okay.
In my life.
Wow, you didn't play 3. That's kind of surprising.
I barely played 2. I barely played 1.
All right.
I just didn't like it.
Enough.
I also, so I haven't seen it, so I don't have a lot to contribute. That's my feeling.
Who here has seen Tenet?
Me.
Oh.
I just couldn't hear it.
Yeah. Let's talk about conceptually what Tenet is. Tenet is Christopher Nolan really leaning hard into just like the conceptions of playing with time, which like he established with movies like Memento. And it's like, what if I just got to go really hog wild on this? And he was at a point in his career where he had cultural cash where he could literally demand that it be released in empty theaters during COVID to an astounding none box office. So I'm thinking like really big swings by established developers that opened to zero accolades or even participation.
I thought we were going to go narratively, but I guess
yeah, so was I.
Well, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I thought that, but of course,
it's hard to go narratively for a thing you have not seen.
Yeah, so I can't do that. So I can do the other one, maybe.
Do the other one.
Oh, I got to think about it.
We said maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe doesn't mean definitely.
Yeah, don't push him. If you want to spend a credit, you can tell him what to do if you do that.
Oh, that's a new power. That's a new credit power.
No, you got to answer.
No, for a credit, you can change the terms of the question.
Oh my.
Oh, okay.
There's too many. You got to stop with all these rules.
I like the continuous fuckery with the rules.
Yeah.
It keeps expanding.
Somebody update the wiki.
Is there an insert credit wiki?
There should be.
There used to be, but it was not for this.
Yeah.
It was about video games. It got lost in a stupid merge at some point. We might have it back up. Anyway.
I mean, there's not a lot of big names in games, creator-wise.
I guess probably Lawbreakers is one.
Yeah.
It was a big push from Cliff Bleszinski's team, and it didn't take off, and it did have the kind of the equivalent of empty theaters. When he was here on the show, he actually said something quite similar. So I think that's fair to say, and it was a big creative swing. So
yeah.
I don't know that I've ever seen a game play with time in an interesting way in terms of
like the things that I'm thinking of are like Prince of Persia.
Maybe Super Hot?
But Super Hot makes sense too. Because the whole thing about Tenet isn't necessarily fuckery with time. It's the fact that time is flowing in two different directions, like forward and back. And the only thing that I can think of that does that is Super Hot. That's close to that.
Yeah.
The middle of Braid.
I was going to say, Braid does some weird stuff.
You don't want to talk about Braid.
I feel like there's a lot that mess with time in that way. Like there was that couple years where every indie game or every student game at the IGF was messing with time, like use your hand and like decay this into the past or advance this into the future, this little section.
Oh, yeah.
And now there's a bridge. Now there's not. There's a lot of those kinds of things. There's Sonic CD when you can go into the past and then you have to break things in
that is not interesting.
Past to fix the future. No, it's not.
I disagree, but
I mean, I like the game. It's just the implementation of time is not interesting.
I don't think it's necessary. Well, I guess it's not interesting, but I thought it was fun.
I like Sonic City.
I think that's as good as we're going to do. How about we go on to Famicom Feud? That's the game we're playing today. It's been a while since we played that one. This is my personal spin on the classic game show. Yes, it's our lightning round.
Okay.
Famicom Feud. This is where I have a list of things you need to guess. Each of you has 3 strikes to guess the items on the board, Family Feud style.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Here's the terms in this new era. If all 3 of you are eliminated, then the last person to be eliminated gets a credit. But if all of you can collectively guess everything on the list, then all of you get a credit at the end of the game.
I like this.
Okay.
So you're working together on this. Each of you has 1 strike. We're going to start with Frank, then go to Ash, then go to Brandon.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
The last person eliminated, like what if everyone is eliminated in the same like round essentially?
Yeah.
How does that work? Because then it's just order of who went first.
That's true. But I don't care.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fair.
This is one that you might have an advantage on, Ash, if you thought to look this up. I am going to ask you, who are the 10 previous winners of the Game of the Year at Jeff Keighley's The Game Awards from 2014 to 2023? Can you remember who won these?
Okay.
We're going to start with Frank. Frank, can you name one of the winners of the Game of the Year awards?
I think Elden Ring won.
Show me Elden Ring.
God darn it.
That was 2022.
That's what I was going to go for.
All right. Now it's going to keep getting progressively tougher as we take the obvious ones off the board. That's how this works. Ash, you're up next.
It Takes Two.
Show me It Takes Two. That was 2021's Game of the Year. It Takes Two. Have you played It Takes Two?
Yes, I have.
What'd you think?
It was a really good game. I think that year I felt that it robbed other nominees, but then I had to look back because, spoiler alert, you're going to be hearing this in the future after the Game Awards. The Game Awards is tonight. We already know, like, Hazelight Studios, the people who made It Takes Two, is debuting their new game with the guy who likes to curse a lot. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at, and I had to write, something for it in preparation for it, and I was looking at the nominees for that year, and I'm like, you know what? Actually, it deserved to win because the other nominees were like Psychonauts 2 and Deathloop, Metroid Dread, and something else that I can't think of. But I remember looking at him like, oh yeah, no, actually, it did deserve that. So yeah, and it's a good game.
All right, Brandon, you're up next.
Yeah, I'm almost ready to throw the towel in, but I'm gonna say Miles Morales, maybe that one.
Show me Spider-Man, Miles Morales.
No way.
That's our first X. Brandon, that's your strike one.
I already, like, Elden Ring was literally the only one I could think of. I have no idea for the rest.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat.
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to say something that I just did, and you tell me if this eliminates me, if this is considered cheating. I am not looking up the Game Awards, but I'm just trying to remind myself of things that came out in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So I looked up Best Games 2018, trying to figure out which one of these might be the Game Awards winner.
That's on the edge for me.
I've only done it the 1 year, though, so
Frank, I'm going to allow you to keep playing, but I am going to give you a penalty strike.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Even if I'm just going to say, what if 2018's just out?
That's fine. No, I like that rule. You can pick something, but not from 2018.
Okay.
That's better.
Oh, man. So many. Okay. Now I'm lost again.
Yeah, exactly.
Crap. I can't remember the name of anything.
I got one. I'm ready.
Okay. There was that game that was like kind of open worldy and brightly colored and kind of like you're on roller skates or something. Come on.
Oh yeah, I don't think that won anything.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
You're talking about
those are so many different things.
And I remember they closed the studio the next year.
You could be talking
about Sunset Overdrive.
I was talking about Sunset Overdrive, which I remember being like, oh, it was like Game of the Year. I remember someone saying that.
All right, show me Sunset Overdrive. That's your first X, Frank.
Okay.
Ash,
I got a great guess for 2018 though.
Yeah.
This should be 2015 or maybe 2016's Game of the Year, but it's Game of the Year regardless. Dragon Age Inquisition.
Dragon Age Inquisition. That is the 2014 Game of the Year.
Oh, okay.
Right on the edge.
Oh, damn. That was the first year, huh?
That was the very first year of Jeff Keighley's Game Awards. Dragon Age Inquisition. And here we are, 10 years later. Look at us.
Okay, I feel like this happened. I feel like Untitled Goose Game won once.
All right.
You can't see my face.
That might have been a different award show.
Yeah.
I think it was
No, that was definitely not the Game Awards.
Yeah,
Brandon,
okay.
that's your second strike.
Yeah, okay. I mean, this is how I thought this was going to go. So
Yeah.
we're fine.
Frank, you're
All
up.
right. I don't know the subtitle. It shouldn't matter. You'll know what I mean. Animal Crossing.
Oh, yeah, sure. The Nintendo
New
3DS
Horizons.
Animal
Yeah, that's
Crossing.
2021.
No, the Switch one.
The Switch one, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if it was Doom though.
It could have been.
Could have been Doom.
Show me Animal Crossing New Horizons. That is strike 2. Sorry, not on the list. It certainly was like the most popular game that year, I think.
Yeah.
But
For sure.
no, didn't make it. Ash, you've got no strikes.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah, show me Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, that was last year.
That was last
2023,
year.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
I couldn't even think of whatever the big game was last year.
How far we have come from Dragon Age Inquisition to Baldur's
know, right?
Gate 3.
That's fun.
Okay, now it's me.
Yeah, it's on you. You got 2 strikes.
So I'm either gonna stop us all from getting 3 credits, or
By the end of this, both of the other guys will be eliminated, and I will have rattled off all 10 Game of the Year.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Which is funny because I don't know them all, but I feel like I'm pretty good at guessing.
Yeah, if you have 3 strikes, I think you could get there.
so we didn't do 2020 yet, right?
2020 is still up in the
Still
air.
in play. Okay, I'm gonna say Doom.
Show me Doom.
Ash just shook her head.
Brandon, you're out. Sorry.
Dadgummit.
Yeah, Brandon, you're out of the game. Frank, it's down to you.
I have this distinct memory of, not distinct, I have a vague memory, the opposite of distinct, of like a really cool kind of indie game winning one year, and it's surprising
That was
me.
probably It Takes Two, friend.
Mm,
I'm serious. Maybe like between 2014 and 2020. But
Okay, well, I'm just shooting my shot because I kind of remember Disco Elysium winning Game of the Year somewhere.
that would surprise the shit out of me.
Show me Disco Elysium. Nope, no disco.
Okay. That might have also been GDC.
Well, Ash, you are our winner, but here's my special offer to you. If you can get the rest of this list
Shit.
with your 3 strikes,
Shit.
I'm going to give you 2 credits.
Shit.
That'll bring you up to 4
I'm
credits.
going to get at least one, no matter what I do, right?
Yes, you're going to get
Yeah.
at least
Okay.
1 no matter what. This is to see if you can get 2.
So we got 2014 was Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah, 2015 through 2020 are blank right now.
I don't think I know 2015 because that was before.
Start working your way back. I don't know.
Yeah. So 2023 was Baldur's Gate. 2022 was Elden
Elden Ring.
Ring. 2021.
It takes 2.
Okay, yeah, It Takes Two. 2020, that had to be Final Fantasy Remake.
Strike 1.
Damn. 2020.
Well, hang on. We have now guessed Miles Morales, Animal Crossing, Doom Eternal, and Final Fantasy VII Remake for 2020.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Yeah.
about 2020 and I'm trying to think, like, what the fuck was that Game of the Year? It wouldn't have been Persona 5 Royal. What?
No way.
No, I can't think of 2020. Oh, God of War Ragnarok is in there. That's 2018, probably. Or not Ragnarok. I'm sorry. Straight up God of War. Actually, God of War Ragnarok 2. Give me both of them.
Okay, I'm giving you strike 1 for God of War Ragnarok, but God of War straight up the remake is in fact on the list.
I know what 2020 is. It's Hades.
That's your 3rd strike, Ash.
No, it wasn't Hades. Oh,
No, it wasn't
fuck me.
Hades.
I know what it is. It was The Last of Us 2. Go to hell.
That is correct.
Yeah.
It was
That's the one I
Last
was
of Us
really
2.
pissed off about.
All right.
Oh.
Here are the games you missed. I'm going backwards. 2020 was The Last of Us Part 2. 2019 was Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
Really?
Yeah. 2018 was God of War. 2017 was The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
BHW.
2016
Good
was Overwatch. And this is the one I was sure none of you would get, which is why I was willing to go crazy on the credits. 2015 was The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. They let the expansion to The Witcher 3 win Game of the Year.
Which is very funny considering
Yeah.
the whole kerfuffle
Yeah.
about
Exactly.
should be DLC because I didn't even
Yeah.
think of that. I didn't even clock that at all because
Yeah.
that's so funny.
Yeah, they already did it. The precedent is set.
Yeah.
It's over. We lost this battle 9 years ago. That's the game. Ash, you get 1 credit. Congratulations. Still
3
a win.
credits.
3
I got
credits.
3 more.
Anything anyone would like to recommend?
Yeah. I watched a movie that had been a long time coming for me because, I watch all those Christopher Lambert movies. This one is more of a Christophe Lambert movie because it's French. It's directed by, I gotta say, probably my favorite famous statutory rapist director. There are a lot of them, so it's it's hard to choose. But Luc Besson is probably my favorite of them.
That there's a category that directors can fit in for that is very upsetting.
It is. It's really unfortunate.
Is it a genre of directing?
I don't think that they would put themselves in that category themselves, but I put them there because that's where they belong.
That's the next lightning round.
Yeah.
So that's what Woody. What's his name?
Woody Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Roman Polanski.
Yeah.
Luc Besson. Those are the biggest names I can think of. There is probably more, but believe it or not, I'm not keeping a list. Anyway, Subway, pretty fun movie starring Christophe Lambert and Isabella Gianni, and Jean Reno is in it as a young guy playing a drummer. It's basically about Christopher Lambert being a big weirdo. He steals something from a Johnny and then disappears underneath the subway and meets a bunch of weird people down there. So if you had any part of your childhood where you were like in a train and you saw like a door in the side of in the wall of the subway station, you're like, what's in there? This is a movie for you. Pretty fun. Then I'm also gonna just talk about Miho Nakayama. She died just right after our last podcast. She's a musician who I really like, and she was in a Square and Nintendo developed dating sim on the Famicom disk system, in one of the first dating sims of all time as a real human person. Very odd and curious. But if you've not heard her music and you like city pop with a lot of hot synthesizers and stuff, check out the albums Mind Game, Catch the Night, Angel Hearts, and Hide and Seek. She worked with Toshinobu Kubota a lot, who, if you don't know him, you should look him up. Also Kitaro, who's like the ambient electronic musician, but he wrote like jazzy pop songs for her. And also Cindy, and if you don't know Cindy, you should check her out too. She died of cancer pretty young. She had only 3 albums, but she was really cool. Her first album was recorded with Stevie Wonder. Pretty neat. Anyway, Miho Nakayama, check her out. She's cool. She should get more recognition, so give her a listen. The end.
Okay. Frank, you got anything?
No, I'm good this week.
Ash?
I'm going to regularly recommend that if you are a fan of me, or even if you're not and a fan of very good tech journalism, consider subscribing to The Verge. My most recent Indiana Jones review was put up, not behind a paywall, but was the first thing that I ran into of mine that was paywalled. So if you want to read the things that I have to say about video games, consider tossing The Verge a couple bucks. Beyond that, I don't know if I have anything else to recommend. So I'm not. So give The Verge your money.
I want to do a preemptive Jaffe's apology corner because I was absolutely sure of this. I'm having a full-on Berenstein Bears moment right now. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is just what the base Witcher 3 game was called. I don't know why I thought it was an expansion. I was sure of it, just 100%. I'll own it.
I thought it. Yeah, I actually.
It makes sense because there's like Blood and Wine, and that was for sure a DLC.
Yeah. No, Frank, are you in the same alternate universe as me?
I thought Wild Hunt was the name given to the sort of like Game of the Year edition of it.
But no, apparently it was always called Wild Hunt.
Really?
If I'm wrong, shout me out in the comments.
Okay, at least 3 of us here think there's something to
no,
that.
I'm looking it up on Wikipedia right now, and Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is just the name of it.
So what were the DLCs for that?
Blood and Wine, I think, was one.
Okay. Maybe that's what I was thinking.
Friendship is Magic.
Yeah, yeah.
Witcher 3 Gwent edition.
Gwent.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a Witcher guy.
Yep, I think it is. It's just the real name of the.
Oh, yeah. It was Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. Those were the 2 expansions.
Goes to the World's Fair. I really like that one.
Yeah, The Witcher meets Amelia Bedelia. That was my favorite, I think.
Are you there, God? It's me, The Witcher.
Yeah. Yeah, Witcher v. Johnny Silverhand, Dawn of Justice. That was a big one for me. Here's my recommendations. If you enjoyed this or any episode of Insert Credit, please rate and review our show wherever and however you can. On iTunes, on YouTube, on Spotify. We see all the comments and we love when you love us. You can also support us directly with your donations on patreon.com/insertcredit. If you'd like to sponsor our show with an advertisement or a personal message, we can set that up. You can email me at show@insertcredit.com. That's also where you can send your horrible buzzers. You could also join our community at forums.insertcredit.com, where all of us at least lurk, or find us on youtube.com/insertcreditshow. Find Ash Parrish at The Verge. Wishlist Demon School on Steam, why don't you?
Yeah.
And check out the debut of the Video Game History Hour featuring our own Frank Cifaldi, refreshed and back at you again for an early 2025 sneak through.
So I said last week it'd be out by the time you heard that. It wasn't.
Yeah,
So-
but it is now.
but it is actually literally right now.
Yeah.
Public to everyone. It doesn't have to be 2025. So
Season
it's here
2.
now. Here now. The first episode is about Virtual Boy, and then there's a ripped off insert credit, and there's now a Patreon exclusive bonus episode as well.
How dare.
This episode is edited by Esper Quinn with music by Kurt Feldman. This week's buzzer was submitted by I Told You I Would Eat You. I'm Alex Jaffe.
I'm Frank Cifaldi.
I'm Ash Parrish.
I'm Brandon Sheffield.
And your game has now been saved.
Alex, do you have like notes of the ending that you read off from, or do you have it memorized?
I have notes that I read off.
Okay, curious.
I improvise a little around them, but...
Yeah, the parts where you say and get confused about where you were in the sentence.
Exactly.
Those are the big improv points that I
Yeah. That's what everybody tunes in for. I got to give them a little bit of that spice of life.
Yeah, a little bit like, wait, where was I in the reading of this?
Thanks, Brendan.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Real confidence booster.
It's good. Everybody loves it.